we sat down, and the guy, which I think was the captain, said everything's going to be sorted out on this table. I take photos of things always as records, so I had a photo, and Winnie had the actual receipt, because the guy at this point was saying, the captain was saying, you know, this is not Tisabo East. The guy was saying he told us that it was not Tisabo East, it was Gaffoni or something. Anyway, so he wrote on the receipt that we were going to Tisabo East, so that was quite easy to prove that he was lying. And also it had the balance that we paid and what we paid as a deposit, so the 1,000 and the 25 that I paid to the guy. Anyway, so the guy said anyway, it was about a 10-minute conversation about having a go at this guy. The guy tried to make crap up, Moses. The driver tried to keep out of it as much as possible and come across as some sort of like lone driver, which was a bit weird, because he was quite definitely involved in the scam as well, because he was telling us it was the Savo East. The KWS seemed to feel a bit more sorry for him, which was a bit weird. And then sort of, I don't know, within 2 minutes of KWS appearing, this manager came over that was supposed to have come over a long time ago to see us, and he said, I'm not supposed to be in this meeting, but as this is involving my area, and obviously there's a lot of issues with scammers we have around here and this, that and the other, I'm going to get involved. Anyway, so the KWS worked out how much money we should get back, even though we should in theory get the whole thing back because it's a scam. And to full 26, they started calculating. I told them that if they put 5,500 fuel in, because I saw that when he was in the petrol station. The guy also told him it cost 5,000 to rent the car, so they took that away from us. Then they also took away the 6,000 that it apparently cost to go to this lodge. The manager of the lodge wasn't going to budge anything on the 6,000 at all, which I thought was really, really weird. Especially as I know 6,000 is a heck of a lot of money even for us, especially as we didn't eat a single thing really, and it seems like I don't understand why the scammer would take us to this place if it cost this much money. It's almost like I know the guy was saying it was you drive around it and that's why it costs much more money for the food, but we ate nothing. He wasn't prepared to budge on it. So in the end, we only got something like 7,700 back out of the whole lot. They calculated, and I was really annoyed with this. I said, "Look, we got scammed. You're not willing to give any money back. You would." The guy was like, he's showing us his wallet, saying there's nothing there. I mean, there was nothing in his wallet, but he got out at the checkpoint. He could have stowed it somewhere else in the car. You know, he had more money without any doubt, and he definitely had more money in his bank account, because I saw he was showing me all the transactions at the point of purchasing this with the invoice he gave us. I saw loads of other people that paid like $320 US, loads of things. So this guy was definitely had more money than he was making it out to be, either through M-Pesa or whatever bank account he had. He's just not, at this point, not telling us. So yeah, I mean, I was really annoyed. They said, "Did you want us to arrest the guy?" I mean, they said they had no legal. They couldn't. They had, because it's KWS and this was a private property. KWS confirmed it was a private property, not to Savo East. That they couldn't arrest him here. They would have to give him over to local police. So we didn't. We just, or the other option was we would go back with this driver, because we paid for it for some weird reason. We paid for it, so, and we had a shit time, but so we should go back with this guy, and not Moses. Moses stayed because they wanted to keep him there to question him about stuff. and we should report the rest to the tourism police. So we went down that route and decided we want to get home. They did offer we go to Tsavo East and then go home, but we would have to pay full price for the tickets and the fuel, additional fuel, which I was getting really annoyed about at this point anyway. So I was like, it was a shit day, let's just go home. And what annoyed us the most is we spent all this time trying to catch this guy, you know, keep him there so he could not scam other people, and then they just literally they didn't want to do much. They didn't want to give our money back. They didn't want to get anything. I know I'm pretty. After speaking to the tourists, after him taking 6,000, I think the guy is involved in a bigger sort of. Because I was reading on Google actually about the lodge. There were a lot of them were talking about how they didn't experience much of Tsavo East, only a small bit. Different people on Google, which makes me feel like it's part of a bigger scam. Not just Moses is just a piece in the biggest puzzle, the bigger chessboard or whatever, which is really bad for him. I mean, I understand that people need to make money and everything. On the way back, we were talking to the driver, and the driver said, well, I mean, Tsavo East should really cost £240. After he scammed us, after he did all this, he was telling us how much it should have cost, what we should have looked out for, and I'm just like, you scam me and everything. Anyway, so the fact that the tourist said it was Thomas Cook that they booked with for this and other things, I feel like the guy is advertising it's something that it's not. And he's making a lot of money out of people not knowing where they are. And I mean, Moses is definitely to fault. Who's the guy who lied to us and took our money away? But I feel like the guy that took the 6,000 is part of a massive scamming ring. Either he's bribing the police or whatever else he's doing. There's quite a lot of money going on there because it doesn't cost 6,000 for food. I mean, we paid quite a nice place in Bamburi Beach, which still is a lot, because paid about 800 for like a big meal and drinks each. So 6,000 is ridiculous for what we were getting. And the fact that he got into the conversation only when the police arrived was just so weird and so convenient. And I'm just looking at it, and more I'm believing this guy. That what would be the best scenario out of this is all travellers are warned about this, and he gets done for something. He gets arrested. This is what I want. I mean, it'd be nice to have the money back, but as we have lost like 150 quid, and we never got to go because we only had a day to go to Tsavo East. But I'd rather that other people, whether they're Kenyan, tourists, whatever, know what's going on. Because some people just don't look. People just book like I do. We're just a bit more careful, and we know scamming happens. So I just like to check things, and that's how we caught them out. And I just don't want this to happen again. This is why I'm trying to get it through news, for everything. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, if you can get that guy that was running it and the actual lodge, that'd be brilliant. It was really annoying I couldn't get the ID of the guy in the lodge because I think he's part of the bigger picture. So yeah, we came. The other thing is we were quite scared. So when we came back, I told we didn't report. We didn't go to the tourist police because I was scared that because this guy knew exactly what room number we were in our hotel. We were actually a bit scared. So, well, I was more scared than Winnie, funny enough. But anyway, I wanted to be in a different room. Our hotel were quite happy and they moved us to a different room and everything. I slept fine, but I told the guy, if I let you guys go and don't report you to the tourist police, because I believe they would just bribe them anyway, that you don't come after us, and he agreed. that he won't come after us, he won't follow us, he won't do anything, which is almost like, and we wrote a letter, we wrote something saying we agreed to this as well. If the KWS ever, we're going to ask him and everything. So it's just a bit, because we were still stuck in Mombasa and they knew where we were. I didn't want anything else to happen. I didn't feel safe with the police. So anyway, yeah, I mean, I did see a thing on about with the president talking about how tourism is booming compared to 2017 in Kenya, and I had an absolutely brilliant time in Kenya. This is my first time to going to Africa and Kenya, and I've never felt. I mean, the Western media perceives it quite, or shows Africa quite badly, I believe, anyway, when he said that before. But obviously you have to see and feel things for yourself. So anyway, we went there and I felt really, really good. I really enjoyed Nairobi. I really enjoyed Mombasa. Scamming happens everywhere in the world, but I just want, I was really sad that this happened, because it sort of made my experience a bit harder. I'm definitely going to go back to Kenya, but other people that might have experienced this might not actually ever go back. And that's how you're going to kill the tourism industry. If you don't catch those scammers, you don't ruin the scammers. Because, I mean, we were an hour and a half away to the gate of Tisabo, and the guy had fuel left out of this 5,500 on getting there, driving around and coming back. So they can afford, they were going to make money out of it, and they were going to use the fuel for another journey with someone else they were going to scam. So they could afford it to go to the gate and everything, and this is what was so bad. But I hope the news can sort of pressure people into sorting it out, because you shouldn't kill your tourism industry. I mean, I believe Kenya should lift itself up. I believe Kenya should work with its neighbours, and I believe Africa should work together and build something like the European Union. I know Gaddafi tried to do something like that, but you need to do something where you work with the West and work to each other. That's how Europe did it, and if that happens, you guys will be more powerful than anything, and that's what you need to happen. Everybody needs to be paid the same and so on, and then the scamming stuff wouldn't happen anyway. Anyway, enough of that. Thanks for looking at this for me. I'm sorry it was a bit longer than it needed to be, I think. But yeah, that's it. Thanks a lot.